A good day, everyone. How is everyone doing
Hello.
today? Welcome to another episode of the Savage Patriots. We are going to be discussing a very different topic today, but nonetheless important because unfortunately this has been going on for far too long on social media and it is being exacerbated on TikTok. And so, what we are going to
Hmm.
do is expose a couple of things about this so everyone knows exactly what to stay away from and who to report to the authorities because some of these people do need to be reported to the authorities.
Yep.
With that being said, we will be right back. All right. Now, we have with us three individuals from the realm of TikTok, and they are other places. Some are on YouTube, some are on Instagram, but most of their vile content is on TikTok. I understand that most people don't like TikTok, and you are one of the fortunate few who don't have it. However,
Mhm.
influencers do, and we have I consider an obligation to expose the nefarious and dark side of TikTok the same way we did with Jeffrey Marsh.
Hmm.
We are going to do it these three individuals, one being Thomas McCormick, otherwise known as Thomas
Oh, is that
the
his
Villain.
name?
Well, I'm going to say his name. Oh, yes.
All
Oh,
right.
trust and believe. Your name going to be out there, Thomas McCormick, Georgia.
Oh man.
No, it's not doxing because I didn't give his address, just to state. Um, and also Patrick Genty Jr. and Dinesh Deshervan, I think is his last name.
Yeah, no, Sherpin.
Yeah, Deshervan. And we're going to break them down in this order. First will be Thomas. Second will be Mr. Dinesh. And then thirdly, we'll talk about Mr. Genty.
Mm.
Now, there is a warning I'm going to issue to you. Um, what you're going to hear and see is some very, and when I say very vile, I mean very vile things. Do not be surprised if the video gets taken down by YouTube. Um, I'll be surprised if we get a strike. We probably won't, but if we do, understand it's not because of us. It's because of the things we're trying to show people that happened. Um, because these individuals, I am not quite sure how they are allowed to one walk free. That's the first thing, and two have not just a social platform, but like large social platforms.
Mm.
I'm going to bring up a picture for you guys. Thank you, Chandra.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you something,
Much appreciated.
and I'm going to have you read this. I'm going to read it out to you. This was left on a friend of ours page. Um, the individual in the picture is a friend of ours, and he has been one of the victims of Thomas in terms of threats and doxing. Thomas has also doxed him, shown his address, shown his workplace, his full name, you name it. Thomas has done it. Not quite, as like I said, not sure how he's free, but this was a statement he left on our friend's page. In case you can't read it, it says, "I have a single for you right between your eyes." Um,
Taking
Thomas
advantage of y'all. I
claims
think
to
that
be a
means.
vet. He claims to be a vet, but he also admits that he has mental issues, and he does have mental issues, which is why I don't understand why he's allowed to have the kinds of liberties he does if he does have mental issues.
Mm.
Someone with this kind of mental issue is a danger to society, not just to himself, but to multiple people. If you can get onto a social platform and threaten to shoot someone between the eyes simply because you disagree with them, there are two things wrong with you. Yes, you're mentally unstable, but you're also very, very effeminate if you act that highly out of your emotions.
Hmm.
I have done an
And
expose on
socially
Thomas.
volatile.
Yes, I've done an expose on him before. And the biggest telltale is, of course, his affinity for fingernail polish and makeup. So I don't know what he does in his private time, but it sure looks like it's a little bit weird. But he
Dresses
lets
up in
people
a
know.
gimp suit.
Yeah, it's in the public eye. You show yourself in the public so we can speak on what we see.
Oh.
Now, some of you two have had run-ins with Thomas before. Um, this is one incident. can you two affirm or deny whether that particular type of statement is number one on how he responds to people? Because he has with me. He's made threats to me before too. So I don't know if he's done that with you guys or not.
Not with me. You know, I responded to a video. This was a long time ago when I first started following or watching him. And it was his typical content, you know, black this and white people this. And, you know, I just left a comment, but he didn't really engage me. You know what I mean? But I've seen this guy floating around everywhere, you know, and he is known for threatening people, you know, saying he's going to do stuff to people, claiming to be a vet, using his veteran status as clout, and his combat. He calls himself a combat vet, but I doubt that very much based off what I heard MOS was. So, yeah, this is just his MO. You know, he's one of those creators on TikTok. And for us three that have been on TikTok for years, you have a certain group of creators like him that are untouchable, that are allowed to say things like this.
Yeah.
This is what we get.
Yeah.
Back.
I haven't also. I also have not necessarily been engaged by him or have had any interaction with him on TikTok, but I've seen his content, and for what it's worth, he knows. He's cognizant enough to know how to make the most bang for his buck, utilizing his mental or lack of
Issues.
mental faculties, and it's just hate on white people, sow discord and be about as illogical and as volatile as humanly possible, knowing that there's going to be really no repercussions from TikTok, much less any other social media platform, because he is what is known as the victim class, the protected victim class on social media.
Yeah.
So
The threats that I have received from him were legit to show up and do harm. Now, a statement like he made to our friend should be at every instant reported. And I don't mean to just TikTok. It needs to be reported to the FBI.
Yep.
Here is why. People that do have mental problems like Thomas does, and he does have some severe ones, and I mean severe, constantly medicates with alcohol and cigarettes. He is always unhinged. He does not have the mental faculty to handle even the smallest discussion without going completely on a tangent and a rambling. He has anger issues. But people like this need to be reported to the authorities, especially if he does have PTSD. He does not need to be in possession of anything that can harm multiple people. We talk all the times about crime, about violence, and about gun violence. But for some reason, he's allowed to not only threaten people to death, but with weaponry known as guns. You can say for all you want and in all intents and purposes, oh, he's just playing. No. That is not playing. And that is not just banter. That is, especially when you take the next step to tell people where the person you threaten to kill lives, their real name, and their job. When you take those three steps, it tells me that you are, pardon the pun, dead serious about the threat you made to me.
Yeah.
If you have gone to the lengths of looking up where I live, who I am, where my family lives, my jobs, all that, and put it out into the world for people to know, after you've threatened him, it tells me that you are more than mentally incapable. You are completely gone. And that you are physically capable of doing exactly what you said you would do. For those who are wondering who he is, I will bring up a picture of him for you, so you guys will know who he is, because I think it's essential that you see the individual.
Also, I'd like to
ahead.
bring about the awareness of the audience who's viewing. Understand there's going to be a continual thread that you'll pick up on with each of these three individuals here that we're going to highlight today. And I'm not going to tell you what that thread is, but so far Marlon has already revealed to all of you what what this guy does, and you're going to pick up on that commonality between these three individuals. So just
Yeah.
buckle up.
This is the other statement. I generally can't wait to crack your jaw. Now, again, these are threats. This is the mentally deranged person that has made those threats. This is Thomas, aka the villain, Thomas McCormick, Thomas Bishop, the villain. Make sure you memorize this face, and anywhere you see it, report it. And I don't mean that facetiously, and I don't mean that vindictively because I don't like how he does his content. I mean that 100% unequivocally. Report this man at any turn you get. The reason being is because he is indeed a threat.
Mm-hmm.
If we are so concerned about people who with mental issues owning firearms and all this, we say we are. That energy should carry across to all people, including this one.
Yep.
It'd be no different if Bro came on one day and threatened to do that to people. He'd be off the show. In a heartbeat, he'd be off the show. If I found content where Bro is telling me, I will shoot you in the face, and he's telling somebody that, no, we ain't doing that game here.
Nope.
One, I would consider that him absolutely gone. Gone. You officially stepped over the line of the sane into the insane. This person, he's not just on TikTok, he's on YouTube. He has his own channel on YouTube, and he has his own channel on Instagram. I don't know if he has a Twitter or not, but yeah, and you're right, Glenda, these should be taken seriously. No grown adult man with a sane mind, just because you disagree with their thought process, you should want to kill them and then threaten to do it. That's a whole nother ball of wax to me.
I had some technical difficulties, but the biggest problem with this platform is that it's allowed. You know what I mean? And usually if a creator comes in and defends themselves against a threat, say they threatened Marlon. Marlon did a rebuttal video without threatening, just did a rebuttal saying Dada spoke his mind on the threat. He would be the one to get his video taken down. And this is how TikTok protects them. They can threaten you. They can dox you. They can call your family. They can call you outside your name. They can make actual threats to, kill you like he did to our friend. And his video will stay up. But the minute you call him out, your video goes down.
It's gone.
Yep.
This has become the case. And it's not just Thomas. Like I said, we have three individuals that we'll cover. He's one of the first ones to break the ground with, because his is a direct and essentially unequivocal threat to someone's life. That's the first thing. The narrative that you'll see going through all of it, it's not really a narrative. The truth that you'll see going through all three accounts. They have zero regard for whether people get hurt because of what they do or not. They don't care.
That's right.
In fact, I would even go to say that they relish the fact that people get hurt. And like I said, the worst of the three, in my opinion, is the last person we'll tackle. The next individual we're going to be talking about is a guy by the name of Dinesh. Now, Dinesh is currently tied up in some lawsuits because of his methods of operation. He goes around trying to find people that he considers racist and are a threat to people and expose them to the point where he puts their address, name, business that they work at, phone numbers, family pictures on the internet.
Children.
Which is, I don't know how that's not, isn't that illegal?
It's so anything that's on a public platform, from what I understand. So if you have pictures of your family on a public platform, it's that's your responsibility to keep it secret.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the address and the workplace.
That's one of those iffy areas, because that is also public information. Like, you can look me up right now and you can find my address. You know what I mean? But what makes it illegal is their intent on posting it. So if the intent is for someone to do harm to them, that's where you start going into the illegal.
You'd say that. That's exactly what Dinesh does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's been already responsible, whether you would like to hear this or not, Dinesh, you're responsible for the death of people already. I know of one in particular.
Mhm.
that you allowed your people and the way you've handled things for them to kill themselves. So the blood definitely is on. You are the one responsible for their suicide. You pushed them to suicide, Dinesh.
And the
I-
thing with sorry.
no, go ahead.
And the thing with Dinesh is like the dude shows no type of remorse, no empathy, zero sympathy. It doesn't matter if it's your 90-year-old grandmother, he doesn't care. You know what I mean? And that's classic narcissism. That's what he is. You know what I mean? So a
Well,
lot
it's
of
also
people,
psychopathy.
yeah, that too. And a lot of people, they talk about him and they go after him, but he's never going to change. You can take him off the app. Yes, people on the app will be safe, but people that he interacts with throughout his life aren't safe, because a person like this, it's never going to change. This is him. This is who he is. This is his personality. So you'll see in this video how you can see how demented this person really is.
Go ahead and make sure you unmute it first, because it's gonna.
Okay. All right.
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
Own life. Would you feel that was justice?
No.
Or would you feel like, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't been quite so gleeful
Is that the middle or
when
the
I
beginning?
was dancing around saying, found her, got her. How would you feel then?
Is that the beginning?
No, that's not my responsibility.
Yeah, that's
I mean, how's it different than what you do? You put people on your show. What if they went home and felt embarrassed and decided to kill themselves? I mean, it's cruel to try to put that on me. And it's also kind of awkward to be so concerned about the aggressor. There's a victim in this case who is for some reason in the hot seat, while the aggressor has still not been arrested. If she's embarrassed by what she did, she could try not assault.
Hi, Dinesh. I saw your clip there, and there's some things missing in that exchange that it seems like you edited out. Let's go ahead and play the actual clip that's unedited. And for everyone watching this video, I will put the full clip in the comments so you can see the full context. But let's see what he left out of that little segment that claimed that he bodied Dr. Phil.
If they harm themselves or take their own life, would you feel that was justice?
No.
Or would you feel like, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't been quite so gleeful when I was dancing around saying, found her, got her.
No.
How would you feel then?
No, that's not my responsibility. It's cruel to try to put that on me. I don't believe in punishing this person over and over and over and over again. There's no reason to do that. That would be harassment.
Pause it.
But to identify her in the video, humiliate her, and if she
Pause.
lost her job as a result, then
all right.
Cap.
Now,
Yeah.
mind you, we'll bring
Cap.
it back up. We'll bring it back up in a minute. FYI, that is a lie. Dinesh is known to harass people via calls as well. He has called people on their private lines. Heaven alone knows how he got their phone number, and left not just small messages or you better stop. We're talking about, how's the easiest way to say this without saying
Diatribes.
what he said? Yes. And we're talking about every vile comment you could say to a female, he has said.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, wishing one of the most ridiculous pains on women. He's wished it on people and has told them that I will keep coming at you as long as it takes to get what I consider justice. His words, not ours. So when he goes on Dr. Phil and lies and says that he does not continue the harassment and badgering, he's lying. He has done this majority of the time. That's what he does. He goes after people that he considers a problem and harasses them to the point where they can no longer rest well. They have to move. And in some cases, they end themselves because of him. He thinks it's not fair to put that. It's on you, Dinesh. You are the murderer. You are indeed a murderer. You should be held to a court of law for what you have done. It is what you call bullying to the point of suicide.
That's right. Yep. And this is the same guy that charges and uses himself as a service for people. So if somebody has an issue with, say, me, right? They contact Dinesh They pay him a fee and he does what he does. He goes on his Discord. He puts out all his information. That's how he puts the hit out. He puts the hit out on his Discord and on his TikTok, and these people come after you. You know what I mean? So for him to say he's not harassing, yes, you are harassing. You're harassing through proxy and you're harassing directly. Doesn't matter what you say on Dr. Phil. Everyone knows your MO already. You know what I mean? So you can just see the smirk on his face and look at his face. That's typical narcissism. Just watch the narcissistic smirk. Watch.
And again, I think the thing to note here is that each of them have a commonality in their dispositions. I mean, Bro already said he's narcissistic. Thomas the villain, again, like all three of these guys' behaviors that you're going to see, there's going to be common behavioral mooring points that all of you are going to pick up on. It's going to be quite fascinating, if not borderline, Jeffrey Dahmer type freaky. So
go ahead and press play.
Then I would say you're welcome to the company for letting them know that their employee might at any point just attack someone. So there's no feeling of guilt on my part. I just feel happy that I was able to help the victim, and that's my priority.
In his world, he's putting on the hat as prosecutor and law enforcement officer. So what should happen is if an individual feels they are wronged in any way that may be a crime, other than just vengeance and getting even with somebody through whatever may have happened to them, that media needs to go to law enforcement or the district attorney to take action. Now, you astutely point out that action hasn't been taken in your case. So who does that rest upon? The elected officials, the district attorney, law enforcement, chief of police, but it surely isn't on the Donishes of the world to say, let's go on and.
Yeah, it
Okay.
seems like you left a little bit.
Now, as Jay Lee said, you might have noticed something when someone is trying to talk to him and say about no one else on the team or on stage grinned, laughed at the stuff he was saying. You know why? Because they listen. His problem is that he does not know how to utilize the two things on the side of his head, mostly because it's not connected to anything in between it. It's empty. It's all vacuous. But when someone's trying to tell you that that's not your job at all in any way, shape, and form, and the best you can do is smirk like a stinking hyena, then there's definitely something mentally wrong with you as well. All three of these individuals have something messed up here. All right.
Yep.
They all have something off. And I'm not quite sure how they're still allowed to be around, one, children, or two, people. I don't even know how that's even remotely possible and feasible.
And you got to take a lot of things in account. Like, who is their target audience usually? Their target audience it started around the pandemic, because I was on TikTok before the pandemic and it was a totally different environment. Once the pandemic came, you started seeing content creators like these people sprout up, and millions of followers like that. The reason they had millions of followers because they're miserable people. People sitting at home on lockdown, they're miserable people. They were miserable. So they were drawn to these people. All they did was fluff through their phone, get a 15-second snippet of somebody, and they already made their judgment. That's what they're doing. Judge, jury, and executioner. They already made their judgment by 15 seconds of a video. And just his smirk alone should tell you enough about the type of person he is. Because a normal person, no matter how much you dislike a person, you still have a little bit of empathy for them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people I dislike, but I would, for one, would never want no harm to come to them physically. I wouldn't want somebody to hurt themselves. I wouldn't want to see somebody homeless or lose their kids. No matter how many people have done me wrong, I have enough empathy not to hope something bad happens to them. I wouldn't call their job. I wouldn't ruin their whole life. When you call their job, it affects their kids. But I thought people like him cared for the kids. You know what I mean?
Also, another interesting note, I would also venture to say that Bro started before 2020. Now I started late 2020, and that was not only during the pandemic and not only post Summer of Love, but the year in which Trump was about to end. And we all know the reputation that Republicans and conservatives have on TikTok, being the quote underdog, I would say, but not so much. that's when the whole idea of these three particularly would ramp up their rhetoric of the typical talking points of these lefty losers, racist, homophobic, transphobic, blah, and stuff like that. And then that's when I realized that Dinesh, whatever, he was one of the ones that would perpetuate the fight. So.
Now,
real fast, a lot of them, like Dinesh and all these guys, they're all opportunists, right? I think deep down inside, they don't really believe in, maybe a little bit, but they're not really down like they perceive, like they show themselves to be down. They're opportunists. They know a way to make money. This is how they make their money. So they go overboard. Anytime you go overboard with something, there's some fakery in there. This is just something to think about.
I can see that.
Now, with Dinesh, he's under a lawsuit right now. He's trying his best to tell people that it's not one that people need to worry about, but the key to understanding how he knows that it's a legit one is that he runs cover for it. Since that event happened, he's been on TikTok trying to cover up for what he's done and trying to show people, oh, it's not a real lawsuit, just to try and keep his audience so he can keep his money going, his little charade going on. But he is going to be facing some very serious legal ramifications in lawsuits, and I sure hope that the kind of lawsuits he gets bankrupts him fully. I really do. I really hope it completely bankrupts him. I just rids him of bring him to financial ruin. The reason I want that for him, so he can feel what he's done to other people for no reason. Exactly. Whereas they didn't deserve it, he would have. Plain and simple. I won't feel bad for him at all. I might feel bad for his children. Might.
And one thing about these creators, like we're going to keep talking specifically these type of creators. Majority of them are grifters, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at their content, go to their pages, they're always asking for money. They're always asking for donations. They grift. So of course, if you think about a business, what pays? So they're always going to do what pays. They just grift around, ask for money. Oh, woe is me, my car is broke down. And lo and behold, here come their supporters paying them. But we had Feud Junkie on the beginning of the year or last year. I forget.
Yeah, about 5 months ago now.
About 5 months ago, we had Feud Junkie on. And Feud Junkie said exactly what's happening to Dinesh. He said it 5 months ago. He said he's going to run into the wrong person and he's going to test the wrong person with money. And there's going to be a lawsuit on hand. And that's exactly what happened. He met somebody, he crossed somebody that had a lot of money, and they're going after him. So, and he was on another podcast talking. I'm sorry. He was on another podcast talking about people aren't going to do nothing because people don't have the money.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that one.
You remember that? He said that. People don't have, and we're not going to give that podcast any clout, but he said that on their podcast. So he was pretty much like, you're not going to ever get me. And boom, karma.
Money came.
What are the charges that are brought up against him in this lawsuit? I'd like to know.
There's a harassment on there. There's a harassment claim. And there are a couple of others that seem to be redacted from the ones I saw, but I know there's a report out there, a case out there that has to do with the badgering, the harassment, and I think there might actually be one of threats. So he has quite a few of them.
And another thing with and Feud Junkie talks about it. So if you guys don't follow him, you love our podcast, but he is also a good creator. We can vouch for him. He talked about everybody that is involved that was giving him money, was giving money to that grifter. They could be held accountable too. So for the people out there that have their favorite creators on any platform, be careful when you give these people money. Because once they start pulling records, if your name pops up in that record for a lawsuit, they're coming after you too. I'm just saying, be careful.
The last one is the most
egregious.
Yeah. And this is the one that I issued the warning for at the very beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pop quiz folks, what's the thread that you're picking up on? Do you know what it is yet? Do you know what it is?
If you can figure it, let us know. But if you're sensitive of heart and stomach, I want you to know that this may be one of the things that'll do two things for you. It'll upset you to the point of anger or tears, or make you nauseous, depending on what kind of stomach you got. This is a court recording. Court. This is not just hearsay. This was described in court. And the individual that we're going to be talking about did not serve enough time for what he did. Like at all. I still don't know how he didn't manage to get life, or at minimum 20 plus years. But the more I realize what TikTok is about, and the more I realize what the left is about, it makes more sense that he would not have gotten a whole lot of time, even with the things that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't be on the screen. It's a little bit long, but I have to let it play all the way through. Otherwise, it'll restart every time I bring it back up. I can't pause it. It's about 7 minutes, so just bear with it. Like I said, trigger warning.
It's upsetting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure I keep putting that out there in case people get confused. This is a trigger warning. So here you go. This is Patrick Jeanty Jr.'s court case and court hearing, and this is the judge speaking to prosecutor and defense lawyers.
The division and law enforcement were contacted in regards to concerning injuries to 3-month-old Jeremiah Bowman Jeanty. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Jeremiah Bowman Jeanty's date of birth is July 19th of 2013. Is that correct?
Yes.
Jeremiah's mother is Alicia Bowman Jeanty. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Jeremiah's father is Patrick Jeanty Jr. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, specifically on November 12th of 2013, Detective Anthony Patchouli of the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office was contacted regarding Jeremiah being admitted to Jersey Shore Medical Center on November 1st of 2013. Is that correct?
Correct.
Jeremiah was admitted for what they thought could be osteomyelitis, osteomyelitis of the right arm, correct?
Right.
Or in other words, they thought potentially maybe he had some type of infection of the bone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, Jeremiah underwent what's called a bone survey, correct?
Yes.
Now, initially they had tried treating it with antibiotics, correct? Because they thought it was an infection,
Right.
correct? And then after that, they conducted the bone survey when the antibiotics were not effective, correct?
That's my understanding.
The bone survey revealed multiple fracture healing stage, including the distal left radius, the left and right proximal tibia, and the bilateral right clavicle. Is that correct?
Yes.
At the time, Detective Patchouli spoke with Alicia Bowman. Is that correct?
Yes.
Alicia Bowman indicated that she was the primary caretaker for Jeremiah, correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated that, however, her mother, Lisa Bauman, her friend, Stephanie Vargo, and Jeremy's father, her husband, Patrick Jeanty Jr., also have watched and cared for Jeremiah on various occasions, correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated that although Patrick does not care for Jeremiah often, when he does care for Jeremiah, he had exhibited frustration. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Alicia indicated that on more than one occasion, while Patrick would be caring for Jeremiah in another room, Jeremiah would cry in a manner that was different than his usual cry. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Alicia indicated that the cry would be a very high-pitched scream. Is that correct?
Yes.
Alicia indicated that when she would ask Patrick that Jeremiah is crying differently for him than for her, Patrick would never provide her any real answer. Is that correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated that Patrick does have some underlying anger issues, correct?
Correct.
Now, Detective Patchouli also spoke with Patrick Jeanty in November of 2013. Is that correct?
Yes.
Patrick indicated that he, Alicia, Lisa Bowman, and Stephanie Vargo all have watched Jeremiah, correct?
Correct.
Patrick did acknowledge that on more than one occasion when Jeremiah would be placed in his arm, Jeremiah would cry uncontrollably, correct?
Right.
Patrick did acknowledge that he had become increasingly frustrated when caring for Jeremiah and that he would quickly give him back to Alicia to care for. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Dr. Stephen Carries of the Child Protection Center of Jersey Shore University Medical Center examined Jeremiah's medical records. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
And Dr. Carries noted that Jeremiah was initially admitted on November 1st, 2013 for concerns of a right upper extremity, mid-arm swelling and discomfort, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Carey noted that in October of 2013, Alicia Bowman had brought Jeremiah to the doctor because she noted that there were some bruises to his abdomen area. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, at that time, the medical personnel who examined Jeremiah did not note any pattern to the bruising. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there was a compatible history or potentially compatible history of potentially rubbing against the restrainer and the walker that could potentially have caused the abdominal bruising, correct?
Correct.
So at that time, the hospital or the medical personnel didn't conduct any bone survey of Jeremiah. They just noted that there was bruising to his abdomen. Is that correct?
Yes.
When Jeremiah was initially admitted to Jersey Shore Medical Center in November of 2013, the original x-ray did not show any evidence of a fracture to the arm. Is that correct?
Correct.
However, on November 12, 2013, a bone survey, which is more in-depth and more reflective of what's going on, was completed. Is that correct?
Yes.
The bone survey revealed evidence of a healing fracture at the wrist of the left radius, correct?
Yes.
The healing fracture appeared to be approximately 6 weeks old. Is that correct? The knees on both sides at the upper tibia below the kneecap also showed evidence of what's called a chip fracture. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Dr. Carey's indicated that such chip fractures are called classic metaphyseal lesions, METAPHYSEAL, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Carey's indicated that such chip fractures are due to either a rough twisting of the knee or holding up and dangling the legs back and forth so that there is some shaking causing injury to the knee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Dr. Carey also noted a healing fracture of the right clavicle or collarbone, correct?
Correct.
Agreed to either 6 or 7 weeks old, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Carey noted that there was also some irritation of the bone along the right humerus, HUMEROUS, and along the left tibia, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Carey's indicated that these are what are called non-specified markers of irritation, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Carey's indicated that these types of non-specified markers of irritation are usually due to trauma, correct?
Yes.
Dr. Carey's indicated that there is no history of any accidental reasons for the fracture, thus there is a high concern for physical child abuse. Is that correct?
Conclusion, yes.
During the course of the investigation, Detective Patchouli spoke with Stephanie Vargo. Is that correct?
Correct.
Stephanie Vargo indicated that since Jeremiah was born, she babysat him on a few occasions, specifically between September 5th and 8th and between October 10th and 13th of 2013, correct?
That's correct.
Mrs. Vargo indicated that she had never observed anything that could have caused injuries to Jeremiah.
Correct.
Ms. Vargo did indicate that she has observed Jeremiah crying profusely while in Patrick Gentry's arms. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mrs. Vargo indicated that when that happens, Patrick gets frustrated, correct?
Yes.
Now, Detective Patchouli also spoke with Lisa Bauman. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Lisa Bauman is the grandparents of the children, correct?
She's a
Grandmother,
grandmother.
sorry. Lisa was aware that because her daughter had concerns about the abuse and that her daughter had brought Jeremiah in to be examined by the doctor to see what could have caused the bruising, correct? She had feared for Jeremiah. She never observed him up all hours crying or screaming in this high-pitched manner. Is that correct?
Correct.
Lisa did indicate that when Alicia would put Jeremiah into Patrick's arms, Jeremiah would scream bloody murder, is what she called it, correct?
Yes.
And Lisa indicated that Jeremiah's screaming in Patrick's arm has been going on since even before the beginning of October of 2013. Is that correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions for this witness. Do any of
Hang on 1 second.
If that doesn't aggravate you, and if you find yourself completely, if you're not disgusted and or angry at Patrick, we can't hang. Like, there's no, we're not the same.
Yeah.
He is I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this without losing my composure about this guy, but no matter what you think about a person's lifestyle, okay, he's gay, bi, whoever the hell cares, whatever stupid sexual orientation he feels like being under is just perverse either way. You have zero leg to stand on when that's what you do to a 3-month-old baby. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to see the light of day again. That's just me. There's nothing a 3-month-old could do, like literally nothing to warrant that. Not. I don't care if that child has colic for a year. Nothing that a 3-month-old could do could warrant that behavior.
And
It tells me two things about him that he has. Hold on. It tells me 3 things about him. He has no self-control.
Mm-hmm.
He does not need to be a parent. And thirdly, he has, when I say zero humanity, he has zero humanity. That there's no way I can even. I have 5. Okay. No matter how pissed I get at my kids, and trust me, they know how to push the buttons. That never crossed my. Anyway, that's a whole nother.
Oh yeah, I feel you, man. You know, I'm a father too, and no matter how many times, you know, my son did some things, I've never gotten to the point to where I would do anything like that to him. I've never even spanked my son. Well, no, maybe one time, and he's 18. So you know what I mean. So just, you know, Genty has zero self-control, and they kept blaming it on what they say, his temper,
babysitter.
That something they would blame it on some. Oh, that's how he gets. That's just how he.
Yeah,
gets.
just how he gets. Yeah, he's just, you know, he just has
just
a
how he
volatile.
gets. He is emotionally immature, and for him to take it out on a child, he's a coward. All this talk he talks. I saw a video of him today talking about he was in Miami and nobody showed up, and all these guys are talking crap. You're not going to do anything, man. If you have to do that to someone that can't defend themselves, that's innocent as a child, you're not going to do anything when a grown man steps up to you. And karma don't miss. Just know that it doesn't miss, and you're going to catch it one way or the other.
Period. Hands down.
And it's not just any child; it's his child.
His
of all. Yeah, like these two above me are dads. They're fathers. I have yet to be a father, and for me to hear a dad do that to his own 3-month-old and have the disposition that he does, like, you're supposed to love your children. You're supposed to nurture and care for it. And for you to be frustrated because the kid is crying,
you know, knowing him, knowing the type of narcissistic, sociopath, whatever you want to call him, knowing the type of person he is, just watching his content, the baby was probably crying when he was trying to do one of his lives or one of his videos. He got upset that the baby was interrupting, and he took his anger out on the child because it was interrupting some TikTok chat. You know what I mean? I guarantee it, because you have to be mentally disturbed to look at a baby and do what you did. There is something wrong with you. And that's beating a child, you know, touching a child, doing whatever, anything to a child, anything.
I'm gonna say this to you, Nettie. Stop following me. I'm gonna block you on Facebook. I'm gonna block you on every platform I have. I'm sick and tired of your BS and this vaccine stupid crap you keep spouting about this and that. Keep that crap to yourself. I don't care. Leave my channel. Get the hell off my page. Stop following me. I'm sick and tired of you. Like, I'm legitimately sick and tired of you.
What was that?
You're an aggravating female, like literally a batshit crazy female. Get off my page. Block me if you have to. Okay? Just leave me alone. I don't care what you know, because what you know and nothing is essentially the same. Get off my page. Leave me alone. No one cares about you or what you think or what you have to push. I've looked at your page. Nobody cares about what you're saying. Like, literally nobody. You're the most brain dead person I've ever encountered in my life. Leave my page. Be gone. I don't like you. I want nothing to do with you. Go straight to hell. Literally, go to hell. That is where you're heading to
She's
anyway.
unhinged.
Head straight to hell. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go straight to hell.
I missed it.
Nobody wants to hear from you. Literally nobody. You're the most brain dead idiot on Facebook. I mean, I've met a few, but you are completely brain dead. And whatever you think the jabs have done to people, I hope it encounters you and does the exact same crap you talk about. To you. Not to anyone else, to you. We're talking about a man abusing a child, and you're talking like a damn fool about vaccines. How in the hell a man shaking a child is going to equate to a vaccine? Are you dumb? You ignorant black fool. The man went to court for shaking his child, and you like a complete jackass is talking about shaking baby links to vaccine. How moronic are you? Stop. You might take that as a challenge and prove how moronic you can get.
She's taking it as a challenge, bro. Trust me.
Who?
You absolute jackwagon.
It's go on his Facebook.
Every single time you open your mouth and chat something, it's always vile, stupid stuff. Nothing educational, nothing smart, nothing. Every time you talk. Every stinking time you chat, it's something stupid you got to say. Your entire page is littered with crap. Your entire page is littered with crap that nobody watches. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Literally no one. You're a lonely old bat. And the only pleasure you get is by talking foolishness. You have people on this platform we're talking about that have cost people their life. You open your black, stupid mouth talking about vaccines and vaccines, this and the government. That no one cares about what you have to say, Nettie. Move the hell along. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants anything to do with you, not even your family. Leave the platform. Shut yourself up in a house. Buy some cats. Start hoarding. Because that's how you talk. There are sick people in this world, and King Genty is one of them. And for you to come in here and defend that stupidity by saying, oh, it's just a vaccine that did it to him, you are a child abuser too.
Oof.
For all I know, you've probably abused a few children in your lifetime. You probably touched on some kids in your lifetime.
Ooh.
Nobody likes you and no one cares about you. And that would way it remained. You are now officially blocked.
Dun,
Girl,
dun,
bye.
dun. Hey, look, you know, why Marlon catches his breath over there. Look, man, we warn people about our podcast. You know what I mean? We don't take all that nonsense in here. We don't care about followers, really. We don't care. If you're not welcome, you're not welcome. And we will boot you. Period.
I don't understand this, bro.
This isn't TikTok. You
There
guys
is a
gotta
court
understand.
case that you're hearing.
Yep.
Doctor records. X-rays. Liquids can't break that kind of bone. Evidence of a man shaking a 3-month-old. And your ignorant behind is in here talking about, oh, that sounds so fake. Because you like abusing children too.
She probably rocks with him.
I don't
know what I mean?
understand this. I really don't understand this.
You know, you brought up, you know, that she's black. Now, if the skin color was reversed, because she said it sounds fake, right? If the skin color was reversed, would you be saying that? Or are you just saying it because Genty's a black man? That's the question. You know?
Oh, good point. Ooh.
Yep.
And
That's how I see it, because if we were talking about a white guy doing it, let's say whatever, some white creator, she'd be all up in there. Oh my God, take him out. What this is crazy. But because he's black and he's Genty and he's popular on TikTok, which you probably follow him. You probably follow him low key. Probably, you know, quiet about it. You're trying to defend him. And this is the problem with these creators' followers. Doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter if I saw something, came across something from Genty today. People are still riding with him. They don't
Yeah.
care. That's a
insane.
mental disorder. You know what I mean? That's insanity. You ride with this guy after what he did. You still down with him?
I want
God, some people need
understand-
help.
Understand this real quick. Just put this in perspective. You as an individual hearing that a child with bruises on their body from a hand, bodily and bone injuries because of a hand, instead of talking about the child being abused, the first place you go
Pivot.
is that it's fake and that it doesn't sound like a court case, and this can easily be chalked up to a jab. You are in real time negating the trauma and damage of a child just because you have a stupidity issue and you cannot stay on track with what the topic is, one, and two, you're too mentally deficient to understand what actual damage to a child means. And you're more than willing to carry a narrative because you're so hooked on stupid than you would be to understand that this thing is far reaching. It's more than just Genty. There are multiple children out there that go through this that have no recourse, and there are multiple men and women that are allowed to walk free after doing this to children, Genty being one of them. And in this case, I have zero doubts it's because he's part of the rainbow community.
Yeah.
He may not have been at the time. This was in 2013, mind you. He served, 12 months for that. I want you to make that make sense for me. A 3-month-old goes through that type of torture, and all you get is 12 months. And there are people out there that have the nerve to ignore the case and talk about something completely different.
I would venture to say that if you are a supporter of any of these three, the harm that these three have done to the victims that they've targeted, if you support these guys, particularly Genty, for example, if you are a supporter of his, you are complicit in the abuse of that child, Jeremiah.
That's right.
I have no
And the
qualms
thing
about
with
saying that.
they's, I'm gonna go out on a whim here. You know, a lot of these creators that are like that, because it's not just them three, like Marlon said. There's so many more.
Oh, yeah.
These
Oh,
are the
yeah.
three. A lot of their followers have mental issues also. Like I said earlier, a lot of them do have mental issues. You know, a lot of them have low self-esteem. A lot of them are lonely. You know, a lot of them have they're on some type of pain, some type of medication. A lot of them don't work. A lot of them are on unemployment. So all they do is they sit at home, watch these guys, become infatuated with these people, and doesn't matter what they do. I mean, you look at celebrities, right? Celebrities can come out and they can say, this guy, you did this to this female, blah, 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 blah. Most people will still ride with them. You know what I mean? So it's the same concept on TikTok. It's just like people are mentally, it's all up here, man. You know, they can't get past losing a person. So if you ride with them, you have some serious issues, and you need to do some serious soul searching. Some of you probably follow them right now. Go look at your people you follow.
Yes, the child is okay now. However, there is still a issue with his anger, and it's always on full display on his channel. Like, it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
As of recent as 2 years ago, there was a video that I've been trying to, I know I have it downloaded, I just couldn't find it. There is a video of him laying down with this other female in bed, and he is talking about a woman that commented on one of his pages.
I remember that.
And what he said was this. He said, I want to find her. If I can find her, I will make sure I get someone to go after her and kick all her teeth out. And I want it
remember.
videotaped so I can see it.
I remember that.
I remember that too. Yeah.
The same human being, I wouldn't even call it human, the same thing that abused the child, never learned his lesson about violence. He threatened on camera to have a woman found because of a disagreement, found and kicked her teeth out. That's what he wants to see happen, and videotape so he can watch it with that lady that was next to him. That is now a fetish for him.
Yep. It is.
And
now,
this
what
is
is
all over TikTok. He's not the only account that likes that's like this. I'm
That's
telling
right.
you, it is pervasive throughout TikTok, where not only is the abuse of children by someone allowed to be done, you can know about it and still have a platform, but it's also published on different accounts, actual child porn. It's everywhere. So this is not an one-off or a happenstance. This is now become normal.
And Marlon, what is the common denominator when it comes to, I'm going to say these men? There are females too, but what is the number one common denominator when it comes to these narcissistic, psychotic men? What is the one thing they attack? The common denominator. Women. It's always women. They want to punch a woman in the face. They want to destroy a woman's life. They want to kick a woman's teeth in. So look at these guys. This isn't normal behavior. You know, this is something seriously wrong with them. But I remember that one time, Marlon, when Genty tried to call out a dude and somebody called his bluff. You remember that?
Yeah. Well, that was because he was coming after me.
Yep.
He threatened to come out to my house, so I told him where I lived. Because I called him a horrible parent, which you are. You are a perverted, sick individual and should not have the rights to see your child. I'm sorry. I'm all for the father being in the home, but you are not a father.
No.
You are a sperm donor and a perverted, sick, demented, nasty piece of crap is what you are.
Yep.
You shouldn't just be in jail. You should be under the jail, chain linked to something like barbed wire that's on fire. That's what you should be happening to you. So no, you shouldn't be allowed in a child's life, like at all. You shouldn't be allowed near children. You shouldn't be roaming the streets in public, period. And the guy that got you should have got you better. It should have been more than one hit. It should have been multiple times. For what you and who you are, for what you've done, you should have had multiple bruises, multiple broken bones and ribs. You should have absolutely all of that. I will never feel bad for you if anyone ever finds you again and does that to you. I will laugh. I will make sure I throw a party. This is
live
from
Pennsylvania. You know, but you know, him and that other loser, Thomas DeVillin, you know, they claim to be voices for the Black community. So if you want to be a voice, be a positive voice for one. Be a Black man that young Black boys or girls can look at and say, I want to be like that person, or I believe in what that person says. You are just showing these young Black boys what they see every day, what they're trying to get out of. They're trying to get out of the situations they're in. And all you're doing, you're promoting yourself on this app, claiming to be Black this and Black that, putting every race down. And all these young Black people are following you. And then you're over here doing crazy, nefarious stuff like this. You're showing them exactly. It's okay. I did my time on it. They got me already. And then you're right back on the app and they're back there like little monkeys, and all your followers like little monkeys playing the tambourine or, you know, the cymbals and stuff, watching you instead of calling you out. They shouldn't have any followers. It's a shame that they got millions of people following them still. It's a shame.
It is a shame.
That just goes to show you that people have mental disorders, and that is their target audience. Most people with sense don't follow people like that. I don't follow them. Marlon doesn't follow them. Jay Lee doesn't follow them. Nobody I know with any type of common sense does not follow those people. It's only the people with low self-esteem that follow them. I'm telling you.
And they create people that have more mental issues.
Oh yeah, for sure. So here's a through line thread of all of this that I hope all of you picked up on. These three love doxing. They're sociopathic. They're abusers of women, or at least they fantasize about it, and they're unfit individuals for society. Hope you picked up on that.
Yeah, they are. There's no way you can justify their behavior. Like there really isn't. It's not your life. You stepped in to try and ruin others. You threaten to kill people, and then the other one abuses children. I don't get how any of those three should be allowed. We love to talk about social justice and so, but you are the same clowns. These social justice warriors are the ones following these guys.
Yeah.
You talk about the children getting shot in schools. Meanwhile, you follow the guy that will grab a 3-month-old and shake it almost to death.
Yep.
You want to talk about mental health awareness, but yet still you're the same fools that follow a mentally deranged person in Thomas the Villain.
Yep. And with Thomas the Villain, you want to talk about, black people getting killed and dying in the street by, the hands of police, but then you threaten a black man
to kill
put
him.
one between his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Make
what I
it make
mean? I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And the good thing about this Danish, trial or whatever, this civil suit that's going on, this is going to cause a ripple effect throughout TikTok. And this is why TikTok changed their community guidelines. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They changed them. It's going to cause a ripple effect. You're going to see more and more people getting sued. Once they see Danesh go down, people are going to be like, oh, I'm coming after this person. We're going after this person. And you're going to see a lot more of these content creators, these accountability, social justice warrior creators go down. They're going to disappear off the app because people are going to come after them. And for him threatening our boy, that's a terroristic threat. That alone can get you locked up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's just the internet. No, not everybody takes it as just the internet. Just understand that. But if you threaten me, man, I'll give you my address. Just shoot me up in the DMs and we can make it do what it do. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Elaine, no one wants that kind of advice. No one here needs your advice about men. If you don't have one, don't be mad at other women who want one. Okay, just because you might not be the kind of woman that anybody wants does not mean that other women out there don't want a man or that men don't want them. You may not be needy because you realize no one needs you. That's fine. That's up to you. But there are other women out there that love and need men, and there are men out there that love and need women. So,
all right, let's take a poll real quick. We have 95 people. The majority are females. How many women in here love masculine men, protectors?
like, I don't
give,
even know.
give a heart.
I'm
Shoot
still
that
trying to
heart.
make this make sense.
If you love
like,
a masculine man, hit that.
Run
heart,
from
man.
men and relationships. If you don't want a man, then do you, boo? Be a lesbian. I don't care, but you obviously can't give advice because you ain't got nothing. You're just as bad as Nettie.
It looks like she's wrong. Look at all those hearts. All those women that like masculine men. They want to protect.
I don't understand people like this, bro. I don't understand people like this. Like, just because no man has ever liked you, you think that other women should be running? No.
Well, this is what modern day feminism has done. Modern day feminism creates comments like this. You know what I mean? This is what it's done. It's made women independent, and then they wonder why they're freaking, wonder why they're single. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I'm just sitting here
Play
like
with whiskers and mittens.
homegirl, right?
I ain't misunderstood. Look, Joyce. Elaine, I don't misunderstand nothing. There's nothing to misunderstand about this statement here. Nothing. I don't know what the heck I could have misunderstood with this statement. It's pretty cut and dry. Should I read it? Women, do not think you need a man to complete you. Run from men and relationships. If you're a needy person, you need help. How am I misinterpreting this?
What the hell is she, Dr. Ruth or something?
I'm like, read the room, girl. What?
That don't even make no sense.
And this is why, see, Marlon's like, he's a married man. He's happily married. He's got him a beautiful wife who loves the fact that he's a provider and a masculine man. Me, I know what I like, and I like, I like you a little submissive, not too independent because I'm run off.
You ready for this? You ready?
What the? Amazing.
Hey, come on, man.
Come on,
Anybody
man.
misunderstanding nothing? Women, do not take that advice. Do not take that advice. The dynamic that God created was for you to need man and man to need you. That was the dynamic. Do not listen to feminists that say you don't need men. That's BS, and everybody in here should know this by now.
The yin and the
Now, what you
yang.
don't want is boys, obviously, but men definitely needed. Do not run from relationships with actual men.
Yeah.
All right. Please don't let these people run you into the ground, bro. Come on.
We out here. We we out here, but
Don't
I'm
do
too
that.
damn picky.
Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that advice.
I'm too picky.
Look, Elaine, I don't care if you've been watching me for a while. You should know I'm no respecter of people just because you follow me. I think by now you should know this about me. But if you say something stupid, no one is exempt from stupid statements now. There are tons of women in here that will tell you straight up the top, if you say something stupid, it's going to get called out. That was just a dumb thing to say because you never mentioned God once in that statement. So don't bring God into it now. Now, you could say you worded it wrong. Say that, feel free. But what you said made no sense. Everyone in this room is dumber for having listened to it. That's just true. Now, if you think that you worded it wrong, say that. But what you worded made no sense as good advice to men or to women. Sorry. It just didn't.
I was telling Marlon in the backstage that I was going to mess on my inner zen today. He started laughing. I was like,
I don't care who you are. Don't take that advice.
No, don't take it.
Please don't take that advice.
Because taking that advice, there could be a good man out there right now, and if you take that advice, you're going to pass it up, and God only doesn't put that opportunity in front of you too many times.
Like, come on, people.
Read the room. Like,
we
what are
need
talking
each
about
other.
here?
The yin and the yang, the sun and the moon.
Ting and the tang and the walla walla and the bing and the bang. Like, come on now.
DNA can't survive by itself. DNA needs two.
It needs two, and there are good people out there.
33 strands.
As long as they're not like Gen
33.
Thomas the Bishop and Dinesh. As long as they're not like them, don't follow them.
Yeah,
because they're not men.
He's a grifter.
They're not men. Okay,
don't follow grifters. Do not follow grifters.
And women, if you're out there and you know the value of a man, don't ever lose the value of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. We'll be back to our normal content on Wednesday. Don't know what exactly we'll be discussing, but there's so much out there. I think there's ample to touch on.
Well, there is something coming up in July that I think we should discuss. July 1st.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
we can talk about definitely doing that. Don't forget, Too Strong will be on in 20 minutes. So don't run too far away from the room. 20 minutes will be on in Too Strong, and we'll be talking specifically about the Jamie Foxx issue. And we will have Royalty on with us. So if you missed Royalty, you are going to love this show because she'll be there. So don't miss that. And we'll let you know what's coming up on Wednesday by Tuesday night.
All right, real quick.
What?
A lot of people on here aren't on TikTok, so you don't get to see my cooking. So I have a Facebook page called The Bro Kitchen. Go in there, you can see all these meals that I cook because it's delicious. I'm just saying. Marlon
looking anyway. It's delicious looking. He knows how to paint really well.
Yeah, whatever.
He knows how to paint a good food and a good meal.
And I know what I can do. God's gifted me with these cooking hands.
Yeah,
like an artist
cooking right here,
like Picasso. Man, remember last time we met up?
No, we didn't square up.
We didn't throw hands. We did
I wasn't
wrestle.
in shape either. I wasn't in shape either.
Marlon's a little squirrely. He was squirrely back then, but he's put on some weight now.
Now
so
I'm in shape.
Yeah, he's still squirrely.
Don't try that twice.
Yeah, it hurts. That's why I don't like play fighting because it hurts for like.
It does hurt. I'm finding that out right now.
Yeah,
Mr. Lee.
So like, share, comment, and subscribe, folks. Savage Patriots out.
See you.